Alright, here we are back inside, and I am looking at this thing thinking to myself, maybe it's not as insane as it looks. And I say that with a completely straight face, if you can believe that. What we need to do is we just need to get enough fuel. Okay, that's going to be our deorbit / landing pod, I think. Maybe even our get to Duna pod. So from here, I need something to get to orbit, right? So this is our once we're in space, get there. Now, since I'm editing this and it's no longer a test lander, I'm going to go ahead and call this the Drover, and the Drover is going to be for Duna rover. I would call it the Duster, which is actually a more favorite term of mine, but I called that a shuttle that is currently landed on Ike. I called that the Duster, so this is going to be the Duster. Now the problem I find with this is that the ship is slightly top-heavy. It looks like to me. I don't know. It looks like it will be, and the problem here is, if you notice, this fuel tank isn't wide enough. If I were to put connectors on the side, I couldn't get fuel tanks high enough to even it all out. So what I have to do is I have to figure out a way to get fuel tanks on it that will keep it level, get it into orbit, and not break anything off. And so I'm going to go ahead and try a couple of things that may take me a little bit of time, but I promise I won't leave you out of any of the important parts. And so I will be right back. Alright everybody, after a little bit of I don't know what to call this, Frankensteinian science, I think. I have come up with what you see before you. For whatever reason, I wanted to keep my surface to weight ratio above 3, but if you notice, my delta V times are extremely low for my main rocket. So this, I wasn't even going to show this. I was just going to test it, launch it, crash it, whatever. But I think, because you guys, are actually watching out of curiosity, I'm going to launch this little bastard, and we're going to see what kind of highly destructive nature it has within its body. Because I don't think it's going to get very high at all. It might just explode right there on the runway, but we'll see. We will see. So let's save and launch and see what happens. Alright. Whoa. Physics engine catch up. Almost completely crapped me out. Alright, well, throttle to max. And like I said, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is going to be hilarious. Engage and launch. Whee! Yeah, it's totally unexpected event. But apparently this thing can take a beating because our Kermans have, strangely enough, survived. That was epic. Back to the drawing board. Okay, everybody, here's a slightly less insane version of the same rocket, with a thruster-weight ratio of 3.27, 82 seconds in these main boosters here, the solid rocket boosters, and 35 seconds, not very much, in these large boosters. But we'll see if we can get these ones into orbit, maybe. Maybe we'll get lucky. Well, it might help if I launch. Let's go ahead and clear the launch pad of the previous debris. And I just realized I didn't put any grapplers on here, so this may come to an abrupt fail. Well, it is sitting flat on its thrusters, so not too bad, not too shabby. Ooh, there it is, stuff's breaking off already. Okay, imminent failure. Back to the drawing board. Okay, everyone, unfortunately I had a recording error when I brought this back out and was testing it. And because of the recording error, I happen to know for a fact that this will get me into orbit and is a functional rocket. So because of that, this will be our actual physical launch of the Drover to Duna. I've already set up the phase angles and everything, so we should be able to get into orbit and around the planet in a short amount of time. I did remove 2 of our Kerman by popular vote. Dude Less is our pilot. Ludmore over here survived the, 150-foot fall and landed directly on his head and survived. Go him. Unfortunately, Sunken jettisoned and smashed into a piece or a part down here and died instantly. Only a 4-foot fall. I don't know what happened to him, and I am very saddened by his passing. So our shuttle launch, or our ship launch, has suffered its first fatality, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll be able to honor his memory by getting this little bastard up into space and then landing it so that the 3 crewmen on Duna will have a go-mobile. So without further ado, let's go ahead and engage mechanical jeb, get our throttle up to full, and away we go. Now, I will most likely be turning off the smartass system, because if you notice, we are rolling a little bit, and it's at the 10,000 meter mark that Jeb decides to try to roll us and flips out. I'm going to test this a little bit to see if not disengaging the Ascent autopilot will allow the engines to function properly. I just have to remember where 90 degrees is here. Alright, and there we are. No, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to disengage, unfortunately, and do this myself. Come on. There we go. Whoa. It is fighting me. It is fighting me very badly. I know this works. I did it before. I just gotta dump this extra weight. There we go. Alright, while we're here, go to map view really quick. Pop it up. Gotta see it. Gotta know what I'm doing. Alright. We will increase our throttle. Alright, this is turning out not so bad. Good. We are at our 90 degrees. We're off a little bit on our thrust, but it should even out by the time we get to 100,000. At that point, I will be able to turn Mech Jeb back on, and he can take control. I do not know why he has such a hard time with the roll. I think it may be the design of my rocket. I do not know. But I have figured out a system to fix it. And the system to fix it is to take over for Jeb until such a time as we get to the 100,000 meter mark, which is what I, 100,000 meter mark, which is where I usually have my, okay, got a little glitch there, let me fix that, there we go, which is where I set my distance, and then that way, once my periapsis, or apoapsis is at that point, Jeb will take over by disengaging the engine and setting me up for my orbital burn. Pardon me, running into food stuff over here on my right. Alright, and as soon as we reach 102 point something, 102.139, Jeb will kick in, and we'll see how that goes for us. And boom, there he goes. Okay, he's having a little bit of trouble controlling it even up here. But hopefully that 36 seconds will be more than enough to get us into a stable orbit at 22, I don't remember, it's either 22 or to 2400 meters a second at 100 kilometers, 100,000 meters or 100 kilometers. Jeb will tell us when he slams on the brakes. 2200, so roughly 2200 meters per second to get us into that. So I do not want to do that. I do want to kill rotation. I do also want to go into a prograde. Yeah, Jeb is having a real hard time using the teeny tiny SAS module on here to keep us in orbit. But we are at 0.13 degrees, So that's going to take us a little time to get that down to 0 degrees. So I am going to go ahead and pause the video here, and then I will return when this is much, much closer to where we want it to be. Alright everyone, we are down to our last 8 degrees. We have Mechanical Jeb getting us into a prograde orbit, or prograde burn area. I did take a look at my orbit, and unfortunately it is a little wobbly, but with that entry into space it would almost have to be. But we're going to see if we can get it with this setup and that much burn and see what happens. So 2, 1, come on, 0, and burn. Doesn't take a lot with these big rockets either. Does not take a lot at all. Although we may use up the remainder of our fuel for this. But that's okay, because we are probably going to have to do a lot of micro burns on the way out there. Alright, and there we go. Gonna just full burn this one because we need to get as close as possible with these meters per second. And this rocket isn't exactly built for that kind of speediness. So we're at 4 gajillion miles. And there it is, 2.84 gajillion miles. So that absolutely means we're going to have an issue, I'm sure. Which way are we facing? I'm facing the wrong direction, I think. Let's back this up. Yeah, okay, so let's roll this around the other way. I'm facing the wrong way. Okay, so once again, just like our Duna cartographer issue, I am going to have to make a bunch of micro burns, especially if I'm really high above or really down below the orbit of Duna. I do not want to bore you guys with that. I did last time, and I apologize for that. Watching that video for coverage, I was looking at it going, oh my god, I can't believe I did this. So I'm not going to do that to you again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to burn and micro burn, and then as soon as I get my first I guess intercept phase angle thing alert, I will start recording again and bring you guys back into the fold. So I will see you then.